Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website at skysworld.com for life coaching and mentoring. I'm in the office. It's Friday afternoon, taking care of business, paying some bills as usual, scrolling through the internet, reading some headlines. Stumbled across the UN's website, Agenda 21. Some of you remember that. It came out in 1992, Agenda 21. Agenda 21 was a plan that came out at the Earth Summit in Brazil in 1992. United Nations plan to get on top of global warming, get on top of the environment, get on top of our spiraling population. There's a theory that our population is getting too big for the planet, that we need to have less people on planet Earth. We have somewhere around 7 billion, possibly much more, that maybe we should have closer to 2 billion. And it was carefully decided through all kinds of ridiculous mathematics of how much farmland can produce how much food and how many people should be on a planet this size and all that stuff. Some of Agenda 21 was a good idea. Some of it seemed a little excessive. The population control seemed confusing, because how would one do that? And when you say we have to reduce the population, what is it that you mean? You're going to go around killing people, or who decides who dies? Well, what they talked about at the time as a plan, as a possibility, in order to achieve Agenda 21, was that all you really needed was to stop humans from breeding for one generation. Even for just a good 10 years. If you could stop humans from breeding for 10 years, we could reduce the population of planet Earth. This was according to the scientists and the politicians and people back in those days that were talking about it. I mean, geez, what is that, 30 years ago? Well, I was talking with a friend of mine. I'm just trying to think of how to tie this in. See, I was talking with a friend of mine about how to approach women. And he's single. And he's having a hard time approaching women, and came to the conclusion that women are not worth approaching because they're rather sour, mean, that they seem rather unapproachable. How do you approach someone that is sending off a vibe saying, do not come near me? And I understand that things are different now. When I was younger, you could approach women. That was a little easier. Society wasn't any less dangerous, really. We had rapists and creeps and weirdos back in those days too. There were serial killers and all kinds of, it's not that we were more naive. It's not that we lived in a more simple time. And I can't really say if people were more trusting or not. However, people weren't tricked into this idea that every single guy that approached you was a murderer. There were some good guys. The psychopaths and the creeps and the dangerous people were further and fewer between. So just that alone just made it a little easier if you were to catch eyes with somebody at a bus stop or a shopping mall or walking down the street, and maybe you might smile back at each other, and then you could just stop and talk. Hey, how you doing? Introduce yourself. It's really hard to do that now. And you see somebody at the gym, well, they're going to have their earbuds in, and they're going to be purposely not trying to interact with you. You might even go up to them and tap them on the shoulder and say, hello, and they'll ignore you, walk off, act like you're not even there. Or if they do respond to you, they may be incredibly rude, and there's a good chance of that. She won't give you her name. She won't want to talk to you. She'll literally tell you to go away. as if she's ready to mace you and blow a rape whistle. And I can see how it's hard. It's hard for me to help people to be a pickup artist. I'm not a very good pickup artist. And I also, because of my alpha male tendencies, I don't like to cold call. I feel like cold calling makes you a simp, makes you a loser. Alpha males, high-valued men, don't walk up to random women introducing themselves. That's what losers do. That's what desperate men do. Some desperate little loser who's desperate for a piece of ass, who's desperate for a fucking phone number. He's desperate for someone to sleep with them and to be his mother and to say, I love you and everything's going to be okay, because that motherfucker can't get through life without that shit. So they're out there like beggars. Can I have your number? Can I have your number? Hey, baby. Hey, baby. I firmly believe that an alpha male doesn't chase women. Women chase you. Be high valued enough to where women chase you. But it got me thinking about, why are women so unapproachable? Why are they so mean? Because I've experienced this myself, where I've approached women and they've just been downright mean and nasty. And it's like, whoa, what the hell? I'm a really good dude. You know, what the hell? I don't deserve that. So I was talking with a friend of mine about this. I asked her about this. She's a little older than me. Probably closer to my mother's age. And she said, oh, it's easy. This is all social engineering. This has been going on for the last 30 years. And she acted like, well, of course, you know, because my question was, why are women so hard to approach? And she said, well, it's social engineering. Social engineering. She said, yeah, well, of course. For the last 30 years, the media, the news, magazines, the internet, Hollywood, movies, TV, all of it has been telling women repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, that men are untrustworthy, disgusting, evil, that we're dogs, we're sleep around, we're stupid, we're oafs. Only thing we're good for is paying bills and fixing stuff around the house or mowing the lawn, making your babies for you. And that women have, through a concerted effort by corporations to promote a certain brand of feminine, of militant feminism, the type of feminist who says that she doesn't need a man, and to breed that attitude that not only are men awful, but you don't need them. This is coming from a woman saying that this is an agenda that has been pushed. She called it social engineering. It's been done for 30 years. And this is the exact reason why women are unapproachable, why women aren't dateable, that they've been turned against men, that men are no longer the providers and the protectors in their eyes. Men are creeps. Men are dangerous. Men are the devil. So then I went away from that conversation thinking, wow, you know, that's weird. Social engineering. Well, if they're doing this to the women, I wonder what they're doing to the men. And it was obvious. And I was like, wow, we're having a problem with masculinity. I have a bunch of videos on this. We're having a huge problem with masculinity with both millennials and Gen Z, more so of Gen Z, not as much with the millennials. Millennials is an interesting generation because part of millennials are kind of like Gen X, where you're kind of these old souls. And then part of the millennials are these, they're almost like Gen Z. And Gen Z, men are turning gay at a faster rate than ever before in history. And there's nothing wrong if you want to be gay. But it's just interesting to me when you have a statistic where men are choosing to be gay, turning gay, faster than ever before, than any other generation. And you got to wonder, well, what's that about? Is that an aspect of social engineering? is masculinity being attacked on all levels? Are men being told to be betas, to be pussies, to be wimps, to be queers, to be soft, to be weak? Are they being told that their masculinity is toxic, that being a man is toxic? Are they role models and heroes of masculine men being erased, literally erased from history, from movies, from the media, from everything? So then you have this simultaneous plan with women being manipulated in one way, socially engineered, as my friend said, and then men being socially engineered in another way. For what? You say, well, what's the fucking plan with that? Well, Agenda 21, all we need is 10 years of no breeding. I don't know. It's food for thought.